Gary decided that he wanted to sign my new band, he basically gave us the option of he said he wanted an album by a certain date and said, do you want to come to Auckland and spend 3 weeks doing it at an expensive studio and having to just do it in that kind of pressured sort of way, which would have had its benefits, I suppose, but I really didn't want to do it like that, and I've seemed to have, with my music, I've seemed to have the best result recording it myself. So I said, well, just give us the money and we'll build our own studio. Every time I've recorded in a proper recording studio, I've always been really itchy to get on it and do it myself. Like, I've always felt like engineers are the people in the way of making a record that I'd like. You know, it's always I have this really hard time communicating any ideas I've had to them, because engineers who work in studios full time get pretty jaded, and they seem to be really set in their ways, which I can understand, but. I wanted to just take that middle person out and be able to do it, you know, do the recording myself.
Here we go.
When I left school, I went to the School of Audio Engineering in Auckland and did that. I had a little, like an 8-track tape machine and a desk and a few mics, so I bought them when I was about 15 and just started recording the bands I was in when I was, you know, a teenager. And I've just always music for me has been half, you know, playing the music and composing, but the other half has been for me definitely the art of recording sound. I think it's because my mum worked in broadcasting, and she was and I used to spend a lot of time in the canteen at Radio New Zealand and with the old engineers, like the really old-fashioned engineers, you know, men in their 50s and 60s who'd take me and show me around the control rooms and show me the mics, and so I got really interested in it from that. And I think that probably ended up getting me into the getting me interested in especially the old style of recording. You know, I see recording these days as being a really sterile and really uninspiring kind of process. You know, you don't have to commit to anything when you record these days. You record a track and you can fix it later. You know, you've got things, you know, especially with digital recording these days, you don't even have to sing a tune. You know, you can tune it later and you can change words later. And that really, I wanted to, with this band when we recorded, I wanted to make a record where we actually, you know, had to do good performances. I mean, we do use a computer, but we use the computer as for post-production, not we don't use it creatively, if you know what I mean. We just use it for just mixing and just as a medium. We record onto a tape machine, onto a 1/2-inch 8-track, which has got the widest track width of any of the tape machines I've sort of come across. And the wider the track width of each track, the fatter the sound. So we record basic tracks onto the tape machine, and then from there, when we've used up all the tracks on the tape machine, we dump it into the computer, and do things like vocals and extra guitars and stuff that aren't that critical. Do them in the computer. I really like the idea of putting a mic up against something and recording it. You know, like these days when you go into a studio and you want to record a drum kit, they'll put a mic up against every possible conceivable part of the drum kit, and to me that seems almost like miking every string on a piano. You know, it's like it means that the drummer doesn't play it like an instrument anymore. It doesn't play it. So we try and be as minimal as possible when we're miking a drum kit. I love the sound of old recordings, especially the 60s when people were just learning how to record loud music. And basically it's the sound of gear shitting itself, because it's not built to record stuff that loud. Well, that's actually maybe even more important than the gear that's used to record it, is using the right instruments from the period. We use an old Ludwig drum kit, 60s drum kit, and before that we used a more modern one. But then after we got the old 60s Ludwig, it was just totally, that was it. You know, that is the sound of the old style, you know, drums, and trying to use old amps and guitars, because that's something that is the sound. That's what they were using back then. It's always the way when a genre gets really popular, you have to sort of start separating the wheat from the chaff, because there's people who are desperate to become famous, people that are in it for the wrong reasons. Well, that's just my opinion, but when a particular style or movement gets big, there's always people who just jump on it because they want to become successful and wealthy and famous, which I know it's probably kind of idealistic, but I don't see that as being a good reason for making music and being a part of the band. And those people, as soon as this style of music isn't popular anymore, they'll change their haircuts, and they'll get different shoes, and they'll move on. Yeah, no, I don't. No, I'm not a purist, and because I can't afford it, and because there's just a lot of convenience in the modern post-production tools, it just saves time. I mean, if I could, I suppose I'd have an old 1960s 70 in my desk, but it's just not possible.